Alright, y'all, so what we're going to do this morning is we're going to make you a one-stick miner and wallet all in one. And I'm actually doing this for a friend of mine. It's a local school teacher, Mark Bruns. If you went to Venice Middle School more than 5 years ago, he was probably your science teacher all the way back to the 80s. And him, like a lot of other people, they're playing with mining. And this month's coin for the big boys is this Yes Power LTNCG. And before I show you how to make the stick, I'm going to show you how I test these algorithms, okay? Because this is a coin called Cryonic that the big boys are playing with, and I happen to be playing along with them because I test all this stuff. And this video, and you're going to have to excuse the background noise because I had to fire up a big boy for this demonstration. This video is not going to be for Cryonic coin, which is CRNC. And just so people know that I really truly don't make any money off this shit. This is my parts guy. He's an Army vet, currently homeless, and what I've done is the same thing I've done with most of the ASICs and stuff, only this time it's not a charity. It's he had some bad times with a DUI. His old lady left him. He's basically homeless right now. So instead of my bench test machines mining to me, they're all mining to him. Normally that would be a very small veterans charity or a children's hospice, not hospital, for coins that I have no place to dump them, like this one, because there's neither of those two categories. I was stuck with a whole ton of it in my wallets. I still am. That I had no place to dump it on. So Donnie needing a little help, okay, everything on the bench as far as that coin, the CRNC, is going to go to him. And I'll get into the batch files later, but generally it's just a period to separate your wallet address, which would be this part, from your worker name, and we'll get into that later. But for right now, let me show you where I go to test all these things. Boom, let me hit my Chrome browser, and I already have them. I'll try and put a link in the description to these guys, and I'm just gonna kick that with Google. I cannot stress enough, if you're doing this in your personal world, keep your control node away from your real world accounts completely. Okay, so I go in here, and my testing procedure, we're just going to pick a node here because I know that they're both doing pretty good right now. Temperature wise, they should be beautiful, but this is why I'm showing you the testing, because alright, so this one's got 48 cores worth of Xeon Gold 5118s, and the other blade is going to be identical. The other blade is running a little bit warm. I will link the place they came from, which is the server store out of Carrollton, Texas anyway. Hopefully. But now, and you can't beat their good prices and good people. I mean, hell, I had a drive cage damaged on this one, and even told the guy, hey, look, I don't want to return the machine. We bought it to rip a couple of chips out for another one. So, if I go flight sheet, I'm going to pick an algorithm that I already know runs a little bit hot. Our temperatures right now are 56 degrees. I'm going to turn the refresh up to about 30 seconds because I don't like cooking chips. And we're going to make sure that that is Minotaur X, our plant, and that is YWinB2R. Doesn't matter, it's going to be on a different pool, so it doesn't matter if it's got its brother blades. Now this will take a minute because the way Hive works is they'll download the software, blah blah blah, and it's not CPU miner's fault that this algorithm that I just switched to and it hasn't switched yet. is a hot runner. The algorithm itself is fairly complex, and I could do this on any other mining software with these particular chips. I'm going to have a heat problem because Minotaur X, the algorithm in question here, is one that actually uses AVX512 and is therefore using the entire chip. Okay, so we can see it's just now switching over, and I know the wallet address there, so it should already be marked. We're going to go to the pool, which in this case is rplant.xyz. These guys are pretty good for CPU coins, especially for the newbies. And I believe that was which Avian on Minotaur X. Okay, so I still have, this is an Intel i5, and okay, so YWin just popped up. This is a 12-core AMD, it's one of those PlayStation 5 BC250 blades, and it's definitely slightly faster than a 12-core Ryzen. And when it comes to certain algorithms, it'll run circles around anything Ryzen or Intel down in the 12-core category. And other algorithms that don't use it, yeah, blah, blah, blah. I'm babbling, aren't I? Okay, so that one just popped up. Even though it's on the wrong node, it's got a nice hash rate showing. And we saw our temperatures a minute ago. Let's watch our temperatures climb here. We're already at 58. I'll sit here for a minute and let it get close to 70. I do not like running a chip past 70 degrees Celsius. These guys that are running them at 80 and 90, or trying to do this on Mac Minis where they threshold it like 90 or 95 all the time. The reason that you see them on the internet bragging about their hash rate and not bragging about their hash rate versus electricity and air conditioning costs is because they didn't count those. But the reason that you see them bragging about their hash rate for a week or two, maybe a month or two at the most, with their overclocked little retail gamer pieces of shit, is because they generally cook them in a month or two because they're not careful. They don't check their algorithms, and I cannot stress enough on anything Intel 12th generation and newer with E-cores, you have to be extremely careful which algorithm that you mine with, because you will trash those E-cores mining. Stick with chips that have pure P-cores. The E-cores in the mining world are nothing but a disaster waiting to happen. That's been proven time and time again. Also, anything Intel 13th or 14th generation, they have themselves had a whole bunch of problems with the E-cores cooking themselves, simply because they didn't get the microcode right, and that's been messing with not just the crypto miners. The video rendering guys have avoided those like the plague. If you're going to spend the big bucks on a chip, get a used AMD EPYC server, whether it's from the server store or anyone. eBay. There's tons of good machines floating around with lots of cores. You can see I'm already up to 63 degrees on this puppy here. Let's refresh it just for grins and giggles. And again, I can't stress enough how it is not the mining software's fault on this one. It's the algorithm itself. Because it doesn't matter. SRB miner, CPU miner. There's one other that does this coin, or that'll do Minotaur X, but 63 degrees already. And that's a lot of extra overhead for your air conditioning too, and that's something people don't compensate for. Basically, the rule is for every watt you're consuming, multiply by 3.4. And if you don't know how many watts you're consuming, hold up. You can go to Harbor Freight or Ollie's or Northern Tool and you can get you one of these meters here. You can even put in how much your electric cost is by the kilowatt hour, and it'll tell you how much that puppy's costing to run you. Look at this, we're already at 64 degrees. And that's another concern. As these chips get hotter, they start sucking a lot more power. And that screws up your profit big time. Hold on. So you have to test and tune. And like I say, I'll put a link to this Hive OS Hivon that I use for testing. They will give you 2 accounts for free, and if you're, not sure which which mining ware or which algorithm is suitable for your CPU, well, hey, it's a good place to test because they give you a nice interface. You can watch what you're doing, and for the CPU miner guy, they're not going to support you, okay, but they're there for you. I mean, they're giving you a place to test. They give you a whole bunch of pre-canned, their own coins and flight sheets. That, here, let me hit the farm here. So if I wanted to add a new coin with these guys, let's go for BTX. Yeah, I think I've already got it there. And I just pick which pool. Boom. I hit apply. Miner. Boom. It wants wild rig. Alright, we're good to go. It's stupid like that. Because that's a GPU coin. Alright, we'll holler at you later, I guess. It's got a low battery warning. I'm not going to do it. I don't do that. GPU coins are a fool's. You're not going to make very much money, and if you do, it won't be for very long, and you very rarely meet your return on investment, because most of the people trying with GPU rigs, we've already learned you make a lot more money on FPGAs. ASICs, yeah, that's a gamble too. I'm not going to make the flight sheet. I'm just showing you that it can be. And okay, it looks like I owe them 60 cents, 59 cents. All right, so that's out of the way. Now you know how to test. Now you can test by hand too. However, you shouldn't have to. Oh yeah, I forgot to switch that back, and I don't want to burn up a chip, so let me go back there. Sorry. My bad. I'm old. Alright, so that's the one that's on Avian, and I need to put him back on his brother's flight sheet. Okay, and this wallet address is that dump wallet I was telling you about that I have no place to push it to, because I wasn't able to find a veterans charity or a small one, or a children's hospice that had a publicly exposed address. And don't fucking send them to me. I've been scammed with that shit before, where somebody sets up a web page and I sent them a fucking couple months worth of mining and found out the guy wasn't a charity at all. That's happened to me a couple of times. So now I just hunt for receive addresses out in the wild, which I've done very well for with ASIC mining. So this puppy will cool off on its own. She's already switched. But that's just a demonstration. Had I left it on this AVN coin, yeah, we're talking maybe another 20 minutes and those chips would have been at 73, 74, 75 degrees, which is not acceptable to me. Because with the mining environment, you're not overclocking for a 3 or 4 hour video game. In fact, you don't overclock at all, because heat is your enemy as far as cost of electricity. As your heat goes up, your cost of electricity goes up, because even a 100-watt CPU, if it's getting hot, she'll go 150, 200 if you overclocked her. You don't want that. You want a nice 24-hour environment. Okay, so we're going to set this up for a NUC. This is a 256 gig, it's an mSATA on a USB adapter, and they make them in NVMe to USB as well. And these don't burn out as quickly as flash drives. You get a year or two a piece out of these, even without a heatsink shield or anything. Whereas regular USB flash drive, the little plastic ones like these that you buy at Walmart or whatever, these ones are about the ones that last the longest. The SanDisk and Kingston, the little regular flash drives, you're going to burn one up every 3 or 4 months. These are just the better investment. And if nothing else, you can always take them off the USB adapter and put them in an old computer that still uses mSATA. So I'm kind of showing you how to make a bootable one-stick miner for a whole bunch of mini machines at the same time as showing you how to make a one-stick miner and wallet. Okay, so you need one of these or something similar, or just a flash drive if you're a broke fuck. Alright, so I'm going to pop that puppy in. The machine that we're using this morning is a NUC 6 Skull Canyon. It's an older one, and I love it. And it'll be here for a little while until I find something else to tinker with, because that's how this works. Okay, so it looks like something has been on this stick before. So the first thing I need to do, I'm going to use Rufus all the way through this process. First thing I need to do is I need a program called Rufus, and I'm going to show you where to get it. I'm not going to link this one because it changes all the time, and I tend to leave these videos up. Hell, I've got some videos up that were there since God was a little girl. I don't bother taking them down, and I don't edit, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so if I just type in Rufus USB, there you go. Top of the list, rufus.ie, I see it says. And you just download. That fucking simple. ARM or x86, either or. Okay, so the second thing that you're going to need after you have Rufus, and I already have mine here, I think. Let me make sure on that. Yes, I already have one here, but I'm going to show you how to get your Windows ISO. You just simply watch this. Space.iso should take you straight to a Microshit site. Yes, it does. Oh hell, I typed in Microshit. Alright. I do that quite often. Google corrects me. Okay, but to get the ISO, it's down here at the bottom. Boom. Confirm. Boom. Confirm. Confirm. And they give you a link that's good for like 48 hours, you know, just right there. Just click that puppy right there. And it'll start to download. I've already downloaded it, so I'm not going to. And I did that to save some fucking time. Alright, so let me go into Rufus. And as we saw when I plugged in the stick, we know that it has stuff on it. We know that it has to be wiped out. Also, this is a good way for you guys where you've got a bootloader stuck on there from your Linux stick or your Hackintosh stick that you can't get rid of. We're not going to do that. We're going to go here first. We're going to go non-bootable. And I guess we need to tell it to list USB hard drives. There it is. It's a USB ASMT. I know I got it right. See, I'm just highlighting it. It tells me what I've got up there. And I know inside the machine it's 4 terabyte and a 2 terabyte drive. I think the Windows is on the 2 terabyte. Start. I'm going to tell it OK. I'm going to tell it OK. Now this will even take out the EFI partition on old Macs and stuff. So you don't have to sit there playing around with BC Edit when you're trying to get rid of that bootloader crap when you're trying to put it on Windows. Now that part's been done. So now I'm ready. Let me go select, and I'm going to pick my Windows 11 ISO. This is the Windiots edition. You fuckers can't learn Linux, damn it. I can't make that any funnier, I'm sorry. Anyway, I dropped this box here where it says image option. I'm going to drop it down to Windows to go. Now if you have a really old machine, look, switch it here to MBR and just check that box for add fixes, okay? I'm going to go back to GPT. I don't need to add the fixes. The machine that I'm using later in the demonstration is a 5th generation Intel NUC. I picked a worst case scenario on purpose. If that doesn't work, man, there is a stack of newer NUCs here. We bought the newer NUCs. We thought that we were going to sell them on Craigslist and pay for all the drives and stuff that we have to buy to, I mean, I give away machines all the time. That's how this place works. I take on networks pro bono and shit, and I do people's computers in exchange for their scraps. And everybody knows that if the scraps stay here for a while, it's because I'm tinkering, or one of the kids that helps is tinkering, or even Mark tinkers and Sherry tinkers, Sin tinkers. I mean, but it all gets given away eventually. None of us keep any of it. And some of the kids, you know, I mean, hey, you know, the rule has always been, if they're trying to learn, all they got to do is show me that they've made anything that fucking works, and they own it if it was on the free pile. That's how the free pile works. If you are local to Venice, Florida right now, and you need some old tin, I've got some non-standard, a whole bunch of these damn pavilion cases that'll only hold the baby ITX motherboards. Guy ripped out the motherboards for some art project he was doing because they had all been hurricane victims underwater anyway. And we still have the cases, and very few of them even have any rust. I mean, they must not have been under salt water for too long, but they were under salt water. So a few of them do have rust. But if you're local to Venice and need some tin right now, I got a bunch of cases that you can pop your boards in. No guarantees on the power supplies being good, but between you, me, and the trees, I plugged in quite a few, and the power supplies were still good. The rest of it was dead, but power supplies were still good in quite a few of them. I'm not bothering to figure out which ones. I'm giving the fuckers away. So, we've already got our drive picked. We've got our image option set to Windows to go. We're going to start. Boom. And in my case, I know I'm licensed for Pro for workstations. Boom. And we're not worried about preventing it from accessing internal disks because we know that there are none in that machine. In fact, I pulled the drives out, and I'm going to pop a screwdriver out here and show you that this machine has no drive in it at all. Okay, so I guess we're throwing in a video on, or a segment on disassembling a, let's make sure that this is 5th generation. I believe, yeah, it's 5th generation. Okay. Boom, 4 screws right here on the corner. Boom, boom, boom. And this one actually has them all in. Oh, you're kidding, I need a different screwdriver. I need a little tiny one. There we go. Oh hell. It's a one screw wonder. I didn't put the screws back in after I took the drives out. I only had one in it. Okay, so, and NUCs are really good about telling you which orientation they are. So as you can see, there is nothing but one stick of RAM in there. There is no hard drive in there. That's just a Wi-Fi card. The Wi-Fi card will not be used in this scenario because Wi-Fi cards suck too much electricity in this scenario, because this is only going to be a dual core i5. So its hash rate's going to be really, really low. Pop this puppy back together here. Come on. Okay, so now it's seated. And we're going to one screw under it back together again. We'll be using that machine in just a minute. Find its power supply again. Pop that back in there. They just use a regular 19-volt laptop power supply. I've got a bunch of these damn nuts. Like I said, we bought some. We thought we were going to, because they're not what we normally get in. We thought we were going to sell them to be able to buy drives and stuff for the machines that we give away. A month and a half later, we sold like 2 on Craigslist because basically not too many people know what a Nook is, and even though I've got the price at literally half of the eBay average, I don't know. You get these odd calls. They want you got a $400 machine marked down to $175, and that's the used values. They're $475 average used on one of them. Guy offered me $1.25. I'm like, I got it listed at $175, and that's with a brand new power supply. So, you know, I mean, you get those kind of people on Craigslist all the time, and I don't blame them. Haggling, dickering, negotiating, whatever you want to call it. That's part of doing business, but I mean, when it's already at half of what it's worth, it's kind of, you got to chuckle at these fuckers. But, so I guess we're not going to be in the sales business end of it, and we're going to stick to doing it the way I've done it all along. I'm going to keep doing people's networks pro bono in exchange for the scraps. I've done that for the past 25 years since I've been down here, because my former contract, which is now expired, I'm actually fully retired now, barred me from profiting in the electronics industry outside of Bosch Aerospace Division and the Department of Defense. And I mean, it was worded so poorly that I could go put in your car stereo all I wanted to. I just couldn't do it for money. And I haven't. I mean, I've kept everything legit and above board. Even the crypto mining shit, the wallets always go out to a charity, and it's always one that I pick. As long as I find a receive address, that's what happens. And the ones where I couldn't find a receive address, I either simply didn't mine them, or very often just helped a friend with. As long as they were helping the project somehow, I'd help them. And nobody's getting rich off this crap. I mean, I do work with a couple of crypto miners that have done very well. They could wipe their asses with Trump's bank account, but yeah, they're not even a quarter of the way to Elon's bank account. So, I mean, and these guys are running server rooms that NASA would envy. And no, it's not the little, like that fake-ass bus that they had up in, I think it was New York or New Jersey about a week ago. I'm babbling because this is going to take a minute. New York or New Jersey a minute ago, they had a bunch of crypto mining gear. And I guess what happened is the feds talked the crypto miner kids into this could be used to disrupt the cell phone network, and the crypto miner kids, being stoners, were a little bit stupid and agreed to this shit. But their intention, I mean, if the pictures that are floating around with that bust are for real and they're not stock photos, that was crypto mining gear. And you've got fedboys creating crimes where crime was never intended. And I mean, it's readily identifiable, but now you've got a whole bunch of the guys that were using those fancy cell phone cradles and 8 and 16 cell phones to a bank for crypto mining. Now you've got a bunch of them guys dumping that shit on eBay quick. Because even though the average miner knows, hey, shut off the RF gear before you let these phones start mining, put them all in airplane mode, and let them read through the port on the bottom and be controlled by the mining gear. But I will say bluntly, honestly, there are some fedboys that should be ashamed of themselves if those pictures of that gear that was supposedly going to disrupt New Dork's fucking phone system, if those pictures of that gear are correct, those fedboys talked some crypto miners into some absolute bullshit and created a crime where there otherwise would not be one. And that's just sad. Really sad that the kids were stoner enough to go along with it. But, you know, I mean, my opinion doesn't mean shit. Give me a second. I gotta go get some weed to go with my caffeine. Yeah, got that morning caffeine and THC. And the THC is legal now. Although I do miss the days when, you know, I mean, I miss kind of going down to the corner store and going out back and buying my weed from a reputable felon. I miss that. These fucking dispensaries ain't as much fun. Ah, that's good coffee. Got real Cuban coffee this morning. Espresso grind and run it through an espresso machine with no milk or none of that crap. Man, that is good. And for, you know, nostalgia purposes, don't forget to support your local Florida Marijuana Growers Association. Alright, that's almost done. Once it is, we'll stick it in the machine and we'll go through the rest. And I'll even go through the process of how I pick these coins, even though in this case I didn't pick it. It's just a very fresh coin that we'll be doing. It's called Adventure Coin, ADVC. And it's actually, like I say, I'll show you how I would pick one. And how I know that a couple of the big boys are picking them. I mean, the one dude, the Montana dude, he could wipe his ass 10 times over with Trump's bank account. Although it's all in crypto, he's like me, could buy a small country in cryptocurrencies, but can't go buy a hamburger with cash green money. But, I mean, I can do that on my pension anyway, but you get the idea. It's always been a pain in the ass to get this shit off the blockchain and into the real world, but that is much better these days. I can do that. I've got one wallet that has an exchange built in. It'll deposit straight to a junk bank account I keep just for the crypto. And that's how I buy all the little RC cars for the kids up here at the park. And if you're local to Venice, keep your fucking mouth shut. I don't want to be famous or known for that. I would rather remain anonymous. But a lot of people have seen me doing it anyway. The RC car guy, he retired and does boats and airplanes too for these kids. But he retired and he's still got the same deal going with me as before, where I just pay him off in crypto and he puts together stuff that he finds cheap and in bulk. And we anonymously leave them with the kids because, you know, these days, Democrats not so much. They're a bunch of sick fucking kitty pervs, all of them. But because of that, the Republicans and these weirdos from either political spectrum, but because of the Democrats being a bunch of sick fucking kitty pervs, every Republican nutcase woman with a bun hairdo seems to think that if you try and do a good thing, and yeah, I was just sitting there one day, I had 4 or 5 of my own little RC boats out there at this park by me, not the Lemon Bay Park we used to go to, which, by the way, don't fly your RC aircraft out there anymore. They don't like that. But this park by me, I like playing with my boats. Yeah, I just give them away when I'm done. You know, I don't keep them. It's just something to tinker with. But I'd given a kid a little RC boat. I mean, you know, it's more fun when you're racing each other and wrecking into each other and playing bumper boats. And I wasn't trying to get in nobody's drawers. I was fucking trying to be fucking 9, 10 years old having a good time again. That's all I was doing. I mean, hell, her claim was fucking bogus anyway. A, wrong gender, and B, wrong subspecies. But, you know, I mean, that's the mentality of all these weirdos these days. So when you go passing stuff out to kids these days, you have to keep it anonymous. That's why with the PlayStations, I buy a bunch of PlayStations dead off of eBay and piece and scrunch together what I can get working out of a pallet or two's worth. And I have nurses who pass them out in a couple of different children's hospices. Well, actually, we're down to one right now because the other lady retired. But that's why I pass them out. And a bigger part of the reason why I pass those out through nurses is because, I mean, if they're in those hospices, they're not going to make it. I'd rather not meet them. I'd rather not know what's wrong with them. It's just too fucking depressing to me. I mean, there's other people that would rather meet them. I'm not one of those. You know, at worst, I'll have Sin do a walk by and make sure, yeah, kid's got a PlayStation in his room. If it's a fresh nurse or something, you know, we double check, because we'll give them one for their kid or something. We just don't want anybody selling a fucking $500 PlayStation. Actually, I think they're about $250 all over Craigslist these days. But you get the idea. Okay, so that one's done. And what we're going to do now is switch this over to the Nook. And we're going to have to move this power cord just a little bit so it's not under it and it's not stressing my keyboard from the other machine. I pop my little drive out. I find a blue hole. I got blue holes on the front. And I got blue holes on the back. So I'm going to put it in a blue hole. And I'm going to pull the video out of this one. I'm going to pop it in here. We're going to take you through the whole process. Windows update, get rid of Cortana and everything that's going to be CPU overhead, all of it. Bear with me. And if you ain't got that much time, you know, hit pause, watch the shit later. I don't give a shit. I'm having fun doing this. At the same time, I'm showing my buddy how to make it, so if it meets that purpose or if it does somebody else some good, great. Let me find a keyboard and a rodent here. There is, I just had keyboards and rodents out. There they are. Okay, so now I need my keyboard and rodent in here. I've already got a mouse, I've already got a HDMI cable in there for the video. And your machine may be different when you fire it up, but I'm going to go into the CMOS right away, show you what you got to do. Let me plug this puppy over here. By the way, if you are local to Venice and you want one of these little gigabyte 5th generations, 35 bucks a piece, no power supply, 60 with a brand new power supply. That little puppy should be coming up on the screen. Okay, and I missed it, but this one tells me delete or F2 to enter setup, so I'm going to power that puppy off. And like a real Intel NUC, not a gigabyte branded one, it's no, F10 is your boot menu. It's still F2 for setup. So anyway, I'm going to go in here, I'm going to check a couple of things. I want to check my configuration, go on ahead and leave those enabled. I don't need SATA configuration. As you can see, as promised, they are empty. Boom. We don't give a shit about that. It gets in the way. That's based on that Windows Hibernate crap. That one we need on. If you have it available. If you do not have it available, don't fucking bother. Network stack disabled. We don't want to boot it from PXE. I'll make a video about booting from a boot server later because I do have a buddy that's been asking about that. Restore after AC power loss. This is under chipset in this one. In most BIOSes, this is going to show up under HP. So we want to change that to power on. Restore AC power loss. Power on. Boot option number 1 is this ASMT. Boom, we don't need nothing there. We're going to go save changes and exit, and we're going to make sure that the primary partition on that one is the one we need to boot from, because sometimes with these drives I do have to boot from the second partition instead of the first. I think that's 4th gen that does that. Okay. As you can see, we had a problem. Let me get back into the CMOS. Turn that off. Disabled. No CSM. Save and exit. See if it goes again. Should be pure UEFI boot at this point, I hope. Yes, we are in. And that's pretty common on these machines that still that are old enough to where they still supported MBR and UEFI both. I need to give this a wire. That's guaranteed. You do not want to mine on a little dual core and try and use your Wi-Fi at the same time, because your Wi-Fi sucks up CPU resources, and that is something that CPU resources are a valuable thing in this world. Okay, so let's give him a connection the NSA would envy. it's good, while you're doing this, it's always a good thing to have you a video game of some sort on your other machine that you can play while you're doing this, because this is going to take a minute. You know, kick back, get you a fat one. Like I said, I'm going to show you the whole damn process because I'm not into editing videos and piecing them together. And this particular GoPro was actually given to me to do electronic videos a few years back. Many thanks to the gentleman who sent it. And I'm just now getting around to the electronic videos because life got in the way, and I had a really hard time figuring out what I can do that's not going to get me sued by, you know, somebody blows up their stuff or zaps themselves across the room. This is why I'm keeping it to the tame stuff. I don't want to be held legally liable for somebody else's stupidity, and I haven't figured out very many low voltage experiments that have not already been covered all over the damn internet. So, you know, and this, you know, mining is something, but I've been around it long enough. I can be somewhat helpful to the youngsters, because what I see going around the internet about mining, yeah, most of it's either incredibly out of date or it's kiddies who are overclocking shit and destroying shit, and there's a reason they're only bragging for a month or two and then they disappear quickly. The reason is they're frying their shit. Oh, and by the way, you do have to generally set your boot option on anything 7th gen Intel and older. AMD is a little bit more forgiving. Of course, AMD, unless you're playing with Epics or dropping back to the old A8s and A12s, I cannot stress enough how much a Ryzen is a mistake to mine with. Same with Athlon. In fact, about the last named chip other than Epic that was any good in the AMD line, you know, hash rate versus electric consumed versus overhead for the extra BTU you're consuming for your AC. Phenom was about the last one that was any good in their line. Other than that, go straight to an Epic. Avoid the Ryzens like crazy. The Athlons were never good for anything really, but you know, some people liked them as a way to drive their better video cards behind them. The A8s and A12s in the AMD family, they were beautiful machines for mining, and to this day you can actually still make a little profit on them. It'll be fractions of a penny, but they're still a valid chip. And for dust coins, that's a great thing, you know, mine up some dust coins on something that only sucks 28 watts. This particular NUC at the wall on a different algorithm, several different algorithms, and whether or not it was this exact one or another one off the stack, I don't know. But I was playing with algorithms on these little baby i5s the other night, and I think the worst I saw at the wall was like 34 watts. 28 was my average. So, I mean, it's actually doing a little bit better than either of these two Mac Minis over here. But you do have to strip down your operating system, and that's what I'm getting into showing you. All that Windows bloatware crap gets in the way, and I keep images one already pre-canned. What I'm doing here is I'm showing you the whole process, how to make one you damn self. Okay, so I'm going to accept the bullshit. Biggest lie on the internet. I agree. Biggest lie in the trucking industry. I got insurance. Yeah. Notice I just leave that shit blank. I'm lazy like that. Yeah. I'm going to show you how to turn that off too, to where it doesn't come up and annoy you or stop you from mining because it wants you to change your password before it'll log in 30 days. I'll show you how to get rid of that in this process as well. Show you how to keep your power on and everything. And doing it like this, it solves a couple of problems because you've got a wallet right there on the stick that you can keep forever. I don't recommend it. Generally, most people that are doing it for real, they know better than to let their real world accounts meet their crypto mining operation at all, and they'll keep a control node to manage their crypto mining operations that never ever do they log into any of their real world accounts from. What they'll do is they'll take a flash drive from their wallet miners or from their real world, and they'll just transfer, you know, a little text file with their wallet addresses that they want to send to. That way you don't have to log into anything like MetaMask or Uni, which, you know, any of those online exchanges that are wanting you to use ETH or BSC or BNB to just to move a coin. They're all straight ripoffs. There are on-chain exchanges that don't do that shit, and you can transfer a fraction of a penny's worth of a coin without spending $2 on ETH or anything like that on other wallets. And I don't recommend the web wallets at all. Keep your keys. I generally use Atomic and Komodo wallet for my dump wallets, and a Trezor and a Gold Shell and a Ledger for my long-term real wallets. And again, I don't plug those into my control node because with the crypto stuff, you're into a whole new level of hacker. Let me get this other mouse out the way so I quit grabbing the damn thing. All right. Okay, so first thing I need to do, oh yeah, on the whole new level of hacker, I'm starting to just uninstall stuff. I shouldn't do that. First thing I need to do is make myself comfortable. You go here, boom, get rid of that crapper. You come down here, boom, put that on the left where it belongs. Turn them damn widgets off. Hide that. Okay, so now I've got it comfortable. Now I come down here on my Windows logo. I go Start. I right click it. I don't left click it. And I go to Settings. Now I'm not going to activate shit. It'll do that on its own later. First thing I need to do is come down here and find Power. Over here, I had to hit this damn thing. Let me just maximize that. Yeah, that's what's wrong. System. Sorry, I love my SUSE Linux. I loathe, hate, and or openly despise all Microshit products. Power modem and not touch. I need to go to screen timeout. I need to turn that to never. Okay? Now, I'm going to go back. I'm going to close that. I am not going to Windows Update. I'm going to go bring my arrow down here again. I'm going to right click. I'm going to go to Computer Management. I'm going to go to local users and groups. I'm going to go, oops, it's still, this is why I'm not going to Windows Update on the first trip here. It's still finding video driver, and everything would get in my way at this point. So local users and groups, I highlight it. I double click on users. I find the user I want, which in this case is admin. I need to uncheck that user must change bullshit. I need to make sure that password never expires is the only thing checked on there. I'm going to hit apply. I'm going to hit OK. Now, I'm not going to mess with drivers. I should actually be good. I'm going to go device manager. Just to see where I'm at. Okay, so there's a couple of devices that are still not there. And Windows Update would take care of them in just a short time. So first off, let's get over to all apps and let's pick one that's going to bring up that we know is going to bring up our app manager. So there's OneDrive. We're going to go right click and we're going to go uninstall. Alright, and we're just going to go down the list. Copilot, uninstall. Shit's in the way. And really, it doesn't matter what you're doing, that crap's in the way. Bing search, uninstall. Office 365, again, not needed, uninstall. Feedback Hub, uninstall. Leave the Intel graphics driver alone, you need it. Microshit News, uninstall. Microshit Edge, well, hey, you know, they won't let you uninstall that one, but we can uninstall Clipchamp. I'm going to leave Media Player on here because I know the man likes to listen to music. Teams, uninstall, for sure. Same with To Do, uninstall. There's a way that that thing can keep the task scheduler awake, so that's an automatic uninstall. Uninstall on Outlook. And Paint too. Photos again. I'm going to leave Power Automate. Okay, so this one has to go, but don't do it yet. Weather, boom, uninstall, boom. And you can do this on any old computer. You don't have to have Intel NUC. I'm just using a NUC to demonstrate, hey, I've got my stick made, it's booting Windows, I still need to get the rest. Okay, so now we're going to go to OneDrive, make sure that it gets uninstalled. Okay, so OneDrive is updating in the background through fucking Microshit, even though I never wanted the damn thing. So we'll come back and make a second trip because this one's going to want me to reboot, which is why I didn't do it first, this remote desktop connection. Yes, I want to restart. Knew it was doing shit in the background. That's Microshit for you. They put in a whole bunch of stuff you just may or may not want. That's what I love about SUSE Linux. You always got a choice. And SUSE won't get in your way rebooting in the middle of the night when you're halfway through a fucking ground interference calculation and you really needed it the next day and it was 3 weeks worth and Microshit had an update and oh fuck, even though it was in the startup, it started over again fresh. Because we forgot to we forgot to stop Windows Update. Actually, I think we had stopped Windows Update, but after a certain amount of time, it comes on annoyingly on its own, whether you want it to or not, after a couple of months or something. I'm not sure. I just remember we had a problem with that, and ever since I've given as few reasons to do that as possible. Basically, I consider people who use it Windiots. I actually call them Windiots. But that's still about, yeah, a quarter, maybe an eighth of the computer users today. Most people have moved on to Linux or Unix variants. And of course you got the Mactards, but Mactards don't count. I mean, they're generally doing audio video stuff and don't want to know anything about computers, which is fine. That's their thing. That one won't let me uninstall. That one won't let me uninstall. We know Edge won't let me uninstall. As I said, I know he uses Media Player. Yeah, there we go. Now it should let me uninstall this time. That crap was updating in the background last time was the problem. Uninstall. And yes. Okay, so that puppy's gone. And what are we running here for a machine? What do we got? Doesn't say. So let's go here. That's our yellow folder. And we'll go right click and we'll go properties and we'll find out what we got. So that is definitely, oh, that's a 4th gen. It's not the 5th gen I thought it was. But that is definitely a dual core, and it's only got 4 gigs of RAM, so this puppy's hurting. I can give it more RAM, but I mean, this is a demonstration. I don't have to. But for the record, I've got a couple boxes of RAM somewhere. At least the old DDR3. I just don't know which is good and which is bad. And that last batch, most of it was bad, so I'm going to having to test every stick again, but I've got random DDR3 and boxes all over the place. So, that's all done. Next thing I do, I'm not bothering with Windows Update yet. I do need my yellow folder. I'm going to go onto the network. Do not do this part at home. Get it from the web or do it on a flash drive. Yeah, I don't give a shit. Turn network discovery off later. I need to go there. I need to find a coin or a address for the coin. And this one, I think it was a soccer mom up in somewhere in North Alabama. And she's got some kind of a fuck, what were they doing? I don't know, it's a kids thing where they take old tires, and they want to anyway. They take old tires and make them into swings and crap like that. I don't know what you call that crap. Whatever. That's what she's into, that's what she's into. So this address goes out to her little project because she happened to have an address publicly posted where I could find it. Okay, so right click, there's the notepad. Got it. You know what? While we're here, we're just going to steal the whole thing because it's already got her address in it. And it's actually appropriate, but we're going to update it a little bit. This is No, we might be able to use 25.3. Yeah, we can. 25.3 will run on when this is sold. So we're going to go on ahead and steal the batch file there. Right click, copy. Right click, paste. And we're not going to cheat and grab anything else from here, but as you can see, I've been playing with this stuff for these people for a while, and don't knock the fact that I'm playing with the miners. The miners have donated more gear to the free pile than I have ever gotten from doing the marinas and lawyers' office and stuff like that. But they go through equipment like crazy because they're constantly upgrading and they've got the money to do it. So it works out for all of us. And like I say, I do their networks pro bono in exchange for the scraps hitting my free pile. And if they want them to hit a different free pile, I will do that too. I will sit there with their shit and fucking get it ready so they can give it away. As long as somebody's still using it, you know. Alright, so that's done. Yeah, we're not going to get Chrome. Yeah, we can get Chrome from right here, I think. I think I've got... Yeah. So I don't even have to go on the web to download Chrome, but I should because I forgot I'm making a demonstration here. Eat the bullshit. I don't want, damn it, give me the damn browser. Okay, so now, number one use for Edge, just like it used to be, the number one use for Internet Explorer was to go download Firefox. Well, in this day and age, the number one use for Edge is to go to download Chrome. So you type in up in here in your address bar, chrome.google.com. Chrome.google.com. Microsoft's going to give you a bunch of bullshit about, oh, browse securely now, even though you typed in the damn URL indicating clearly that that's what the fuck you wanted. Okay, so it's downloading Chrome. And I just automatically know it goes to the downloads directory, and you can click the damn folder there and it'll open it. But just for grins and giggles, we're going to do it my way, the normal way. Go to downloads, I go to Chrome setup. And hit yes. And they are slow today. See, that's that Windows Update crap in the background running. It's having to wait to install. And that is annoying as hell. I don't care what Microsoft wants. They're in my way. I'm trying to do what I want to do, not what they fucking think some yuppie puppy would want to do. That's just annoying. I mean, especially when you're installing a workstation version instead of regular Windows Home or Pro, you'd think, you know, hey, the guy's got a workstation version. Maybe he's playing with servers and enterprise workstations in the background. Maybe we should leave him the fuck alone with the annoying shit. But, you know, they treat the enterprise users just like they do the home users. I have no idea what Microsoft's thinking is in that, other than they want to try and con you into using all kinds of cloud services that you don't actually need. Wow, I can buy a terabyte of online storage for $10 a month. Man, that's a deal. No, it's not, because I can go down and buy a terabyte portable hard drive for $40 these days, $30 if you shop them right on eBay or Amazon. Get a 2 or 3 terabyte for that. Old spinning one. You probably get a 20 terabyte for under $100 these days. I don't want to sign into shit. I do want to set Chrome as my default because, as I said before, Edge is fucking annoying. So I'm going to say no thanks. I don't want any of that crap. Now, I know that the coin that I want is Adventure coin. I know that the pool that I want is rplant.xyz. But first, before I do that, I'm going to show you how to find your coin, because this coin may not be good for your CPU. You may have to play with mining software, different mining software and different algorithms to keep from melting your CPU, or maybe you picked a coin that's not profitable, whatever. You want to pick a different one and play with it. Hey, that's the guy I'm here for. The guy that's playing with shit tinkering. The ones that are out to make money, yeah, I got a couple of those that are kind of half-ass, almost supporting the operation with their scraps. But, same time, okay, so I would go to mining pool stats, which is a .com, but you know, there they are. Actually, it's .stream. Okay, I'm going to hit them. I'm just going to pick any coin. Doesn't matter. And that gives me a menu over here on the left. I'm going to hit it. Ouch. And I'm going to drop down the CPU coins, because that's all we're playing with. So let's go to CPU random experience. We know are generally like Monero. Yeah, there's a couple of chips that'll still make you money, but you probably don't have them, and I don't want to afford them. Yeah, so like Zephyr, that one I've seen people breaking even on. Tusky, I've seen people doing well on, but since Zegex went down, I don't know where to dump it to, because I never had a charity that one would go to. That's another thing. You need to make sure before you mine any coin that you have a wallet where it would go to, and in this case you would, because you're going to download a desktop, their own desktop version for Adventure coin. These are the Argon 2 variants. I'm just demonstrating how I would find a coin. And we know that, you know, they've got them all the way down to various algo. That Virus coin is lucrative if you have the right chips. It's not going to be an I family anything. It's like a couple of the 11th gen quad-core Celeron and I think it was a 8th or 9th gen, also a quad-core Celeron, and with no middle ground in the Intel world, up until the Xeon Platinum Gold was the next lowest chip that would make you any money on that one, or even break even for that matter. AMD, the hands down winner, was the 3rd gen 96 core for money profit wise. For casual miner, go on, find yourself a old 2nd generation, even a 1st generation 30 with a pair of 32 or 64 core first or 2nd generation AMD Epics. Avoid the 16 cores like the plague. So anyway, I already know that I have found my coin, and I know it was a Yes Power, And I'm still under various. I'll go over here. So I'm going to go over to Yes Power. And that was Adventure Coin, ADVC. As I said, it's going to be on rplant.xyz. So I'm going to go there. And I don't have anyone mining there at all. I'm not kicking machines over to it in the background or no shit like that. In fact, I've only got 2 holes open on this machine, and the rest of them are either this one or doing something that ain't mining. So, they give you instructions on how to connect, and they like you to use their CPU miner rplant for Windows, which, yeah, I kind of agree. It's tailored to their own pool. But I have several times with these guys done much better with SRB miner or the CPU miner -OPT opt. It's just according to the algorithm and according to the coin, and I cannot stress enough how valuable it is to play around and check between. So now we've got that. We know our coin. We found it here. We know our pool, because after we found our coin here, they pointed us to a pool. We highlighted it, and it pointed us to a pool. Now we've got our pool. We've got our instructions down there. And we know what mining software we want. So while we're here, we're just going to go on ahead and grab their software. 5.046 is what it looks like. And it looks like we have... We got a Windows version here. Yeah, there we go. See, no Windows version on the new one yet. We're going to go on ahead and get that one. And because it's Microshit and they mine a little bit themselves, they think all crypto mining software is somehow a virus. I mean, I can compile my own and they still fucking say it's a virus. So I go to Virus and Threat Protection Settings, Manage Settings. I go down here and I go to Exclusions, Add or Remove Exclusions. I go Yes. I go Add an Exclusion. I go Folder. And I need to pick my downloads. I pick Select Folder. It'll show up here. I can close that shit. Alright. And this particular miningware never comes up with the alarm, but like I think WildRig lately has been popping up with it again. And it's really just the monitoring software. It's not an actual virus. It's just the monitoring software that's included in a lot of these mining software. Put quotation words around the phrase could be used for nefarious purposes, but generally isn't. I mean, they're legitimate management monitoring type programs that Microshit just frowns on because they could be used for nefarious purposes. And in this case, what's it going to matter, because you're going to have the wallet on and you're going to dump it every, $50 or so. So now I need to go to Adventure Coin. I need to find their page, don't I? So if I don't know it, ADVC, oops. Put wallet right behind it. That's the one I wanted. And I just go straight to them. And I guess this is a CPU mineable gaming coin based on in a realm of 8-bit and 16-bit fantasy RPGs. Alright, that's cool. So how do I get the wallet? There we go, wallets. Do not ever take a web wallet. I want a core wallet. I want my releases. This is the latest. Adventure Coin Win 64. Oh, they have one that has a setup. So we're going to take the one with the install wrapper. We're going to kill that. We're going to kill that. And I won't need that lady's receive address because for the purposes of this, I need to show you how to do it for you. So I'm going to set the wall up here. Run anyway. Yes. Next. Next. Install. Next. Finish. Well, it looks like it's lighting up down there. I want to use the default directory, and this is a 256 gig stick. You do need to use something bigger than a 100 gig stick because Windows is going to suck up 30 or 40 gigs on you, and half the time these wallets are like 80 and 100 gigs, and sometimes you get lucky and they're smaller, but as a general rule I tell people just grab a 256 gig stick, you know. Okay, so I can kill that and let this come up, make sure that it's actually starting. I need to tell it, okay, on all of them, fuck it. This is just a stick miner. I don't give a shit. Coin appears to be 23 weeks old. I'm going to hide that. I'm going to go to receive. I'm going to create an address. And I'm going to go boom. And I now have an address, so I go copy address, I go close. Because it'll do the synchronizing on its own in the background anyway. I'm going to hit overview there, and if I hide it again you can see I'm back on the overview. Alright, so that being done, and it being doing its thing, we need to set up our miner. So we go here and we go to downloads and we extract our mining software, which we didn't bring down. We looked at but didn't bring down. So back to the World Wide Waste. Web. Set as default, damn it. Set default. Okay. Yes. Unpin anything Microshit. Sorry, Billy. You may be a wise and smart man, but your shit gets in the way and has been for decades. You have been the annoyance to many nerds. I think that's why they make fun of you. Is all your advertising crap and shit that they don't want gets in their way. Anyway, now let's go back to our plant. And we know it's Adventure Coin we're after. And we're just going to use their generic directions. We're going to download theirs. And we're going to download the real thing just for grins and giggles. Google blocked it, so I did download it earlier. So now, because Google's a damn pain in the ass too, I need to go to my downloads, download dangerous file, comes from a suspicious site just because Google does a little mining themselves. And actually, every crypto site, anybody that, I mean, they give you the fucking source code right there. You can look at it. You can decompile what they're fucking putting up and compare. Microshit and Google should quit faking. They really should. But I do understand that the monitoring software that's associated with these could be used for nefarious purposes. But in reality, it very rarely is, and most people that are mining know too. Okay, so I'm going to go to JD, and like I say, this is the real CPU miner. Okay, and he has 25.6. And I'm going to download that. Okay, so and I'm going to extract that one too, because we're going to run them run them both, try them. Whichever one's faster is the winner. And we're going to do them with the same address. And in the process, I'm going to show you how to edit a fucking existing batch file, because I will hold on the how-to screen for a minute. And this thing hasn't even connected to peers yet. Everything's good there. Must be something going on with them. Alright, I don't care. I've got a receive address, and this is just a demo anyway. Alright, mining wares. I already have my batch file here, so we're going to edit this puppy in Notepad. First thing you need to do, this CD right here, change directory command, is not normally in there. So what we would do is we go find our directory. Boom, we know I put it in the downloads. And I'm going to get rid of the zip files to avoid confusion here. Okay, so we want to try the 5045 was the one from our plant. Copy address as text. Right click and paste that puppy. Okay. And we need the receive address that we just put here, so we'll hide that. We'll hit the receive. We double click the address and we go copy address. Okay. And boom. And paste. And this is a It's a gigabyte NUC, that's why the G. Okay, so everything's set for that miner on that directory. We know that, actually I could probably get away with AVX, but let's see what happens here. And let's go ahead and crank that puppy back up, and it does look like it is syncing, so I'm happy with that. Let's go on ahead and crank the Adventure coin miner. And we'll just kick back here a minute and watch for hash rate. Okay, so this CPU does have AVX2, but we only need SSE2 and SHA. This CPU does not have SHA, so those AMD BC250s would do excellent on this. And with the wallet syncing on a little dual core like this, man, there's not going to be much for hash rate. Normally, on a real CPU, there's plenty of hash rate and plenty of horsepower to go on ahead and let it sync the wallet at the same time. But your hash rate will pick up after the wallet's synced, and actually Windows Update might still be messing with me in the background. Well, it's got me on Asia. And it's kicking me off. So let's try that with this one. And you know what? It's on EU, so it shouldn't have, I don't know why it shot me over to Asia. Let's try it this way. Okay, so this is another reason why you would use Hive to test up your mining wares ahead of time, because their own mining ware didn't like this chip, but the Adventure coin, or I'm sorry, the real one, the CPU Miner Opt, the JD version, seems to like it pretty good. I've already got a one share accepted. Although, you know, how many shares per coin, I don't know anything like that. But now I should be able, if everything's working right, I should be able to go over to the other machine. But now that I know that I have, just to save time here, now that I know I have a working batch file, I'm going to close that. I'm not worried about the wallet over here. I need to right click here on the Adventure coin. I need to go on the batch file up here, because we know that this one works. And now I copied it, and I'm going to go down here to my start menu, my little Windows logo. You know, the thing that the Windiots hardly ever press because all they know is to get into Chrome. I'm going to go run. And this time I'm going to do something that Windiots don't normally do. I'm going to pick up a keyboard and type. I mean, I understand this may be complicated for you Windiots to do something that doesn't involve just blindly holding a mouse and every now and then pressing a button, but this one you need a keyboard for, okay? So where it says open here, I'm going to type in SHELL:*STARTUP. That's shell : startup. I hit the enter key. Okay, boom. I hit right click anywhere in that empty space there. I go paste. And there's my Adventure coin. And now it will come up mining into Adventure coin every single time the machine restarts. And as you saw earlier, I've already set it up to power on and restart if the power fails. So you basically created a poor man's little mini crypto miner here. And I believe I put this address in already. Let's hide that. Shell. Copy for grins and giggles, just in case. Alpha Golf, huh? Yeah, Alpha Golf. HQ. Yeah, okay. I only checked the first few and the last few. Fuck it, I'm lazy like that. Alright, so that's working. So I should be able to go over to... Ooh, no, you know what? I'm going to have to do it from here because I don't have that address copied into a text file that I can leech across the network. And I don't recommend that. I recommend the flash drive network where you pass your addresses back and forth in a text file on a damn flash drive. So, in fact, I recommend going back in it already at this point and shutting off network discovery as well. We already have go on ahead and shut your Wi-Fi off. You don't need it. You don't need your Bluetooth. That's extra electricity which messes with your power, especially on a little teeny box like this where you've only got 2 cores. Both of those suck up CPU resources just having them on. So let's go to our plant with that address. And it looks like Google already bookmarked it for me. Haha, they're fart smellers. Alright, so I go to Adventure Coin, my miner, I put in the wallet address, right click, I go paste this plain text, I go set, and I have a wallet. Or I can now monitor it from anywhere in the world. I'm doing it from the machine it's on. I meant to do it on the other machine, but I don't feel like putting it all on a flash drive. And to make a damn flash drive, you know, for the flash net, we used to call it the floppy net. Just hit any damn directory, like in your downloads directory, right click and go new and text document, boom, right click, go paste. Okay, there's one with the wallet in it and it's ready to go. That's the address, and I would name the file ADVC Addy or some shit. Save. Nah, I don't want to save it. Don't save. And I'm just going to delete that. But normally you would just copy it and then find your flash drive over here, whichever one's your flash drive, and then paste it onto your flash drive. And read it into your other machine. Never ever let your real world accounts meet your crypto accounts, ever. And in fact, even though I use a Chromebox and Chromebooks for some of my control nodes, that's generally just to make the migration a lot easier for old people that have been doing Windows for too long, and those habits get in their brain. You just got to keep them as close as you can. I can't stress enough, never ever let your crypto mining, your control node, or anything from any machine from your crypto mining world log into any of your real world accounts. Don't do it. It's not really the script kiddies that you're worried about. I mean, you are, but you're into a whole different level of hacker here. First off, the script kiddies aren't your off the shelf. And the ones that you really have to worry about are the ones up in Maryland and Utah that think that their traffic is hidden, and therefore, yeah, not all field agents are honest apparently. They have cleaned out a few people's wallets, and in fact Maryland, according to who you read, Maryland was the original actual cause for the viruses in the Antminer L3s and L9s. Somebody who worked out of the NSA in Maryland got very rich off of that, But of course, you know, nefariously it was somehow some kind of a Russian or Chinese virus, even though, I don't know, profit didn't go that direction. Everybody knows where it was mining to. Hell, we even know what building the fucking virus originated in. We just don't know what desk it originated from. And I trust Kim.com and his buddies, for the ones that discovered it, his buddies, not him, much more than I trust the U.S. government, which is a sad, sad thing to have to say. Okay, so we know it's mining, and we know it's working, we know the hash rate sucks, but again, this is a demonstration video. I could put this puppy in something big real quick. But I really don't need the money, and I'm just having fun doing this for other people, kind of a thing. It's a distraction from my 3D audio project, which I would rather be doing, but at the same time, this is kind of covering my 3D audio project, and these bigger miner guys have definitely come across with some scraps for the free pile that have done a substantial amount of good in the area. And even the one kid that just continues to blow shit up, I mean, at least he's blowing up really old shit, and he's learning what not to do. That's the best part. He would not be able to do that on a fucking, where the hell's he work? Arby's or Burger King? I'm being vague on purpose, but I'm indicating a true fact that he does work at a fast food establishment. You know, 20-something-year-old kid. He can't afford shit. He can barely afford his rent. I got another kid I help out. Hell, he's like 25, 26 years old. He's got child support on 3 kids, and she's the one that cheated on him. What the hell? I mean, he don't get much of this check. Okay, so that's working. The wallet's working. If I minimize the wallet, it'll go down to the bottom. This hash rate should about double after the wallet has synchronized. And there you go. I mean, I've already put it in the startup. You saw me do the, I'm thinking out loud here, making sure that I've covered everything. Bear with me, folks. You saw me put it in the startup. Run. Yes, I definitely put it in the startup. Yes, it's definitely there. You saw me set up the CMOS where it'll automatically power on after power failure. You saw how I picked the coins, and I did show you where I would normally test coins on Hivon. And like I say, I'll link Hivon down in the description, so if you just wanted to mine off of there, like I say, you could use it for more than a test bed. They'll give you 2 CPU miner accounts for free. If that's all you're doing is taking an old PC and CPU mining, just pick a coin that's going to make more than your electricity is going to cost you. I did cover about, you can get those meters at Harbor Freight, Northern Tool, hell, Ollie's. Pretty sure Walmart has them on their online for sure. In store, I don't know. Home Depot would probably have them, so you can check your power and figure out where you're at that way. 99% of the profitability calculators on the internet are outright pure D bullshit. They're either outdated, or they're not reading the Explorer correctly, or they're assuming a hash rate for blah when it's really blah these days. They're assuming difficulty heights that are far different than what's currently there. I'll go beyond 99%, and I'll go 99.5% of the hash rate versus profitability calculators on the internet are pure D bullshit. Do your own due diligence. Play with Hive. Do like I just did a minute ago. Try one, try the next one. Now, had both of those worked, I would have sat here and watched to see which one was going to give the best hash rate. And then I would have put it in the shell startup. But the other one didn't work, and I'm trying to keep the video relatively short for what it is. So here we are. That's another reason why Hive is so handy. You can just switch algorithms, switch software,